Hi everyone, Coach Keon Smith here, and it is my pleasure to bring you some more information on our learning management system. Our LMS has over 100 modules that you can engage in to learn a particular skill set, whether you are a trainer, you're HR manager, or just someone who's looking to enhance their personal and professional development. For our module today, we are going to be focusing on a very important module that speaks more to us understanding how to have that level of consciousness when it comes to working together with our team members, especially in growing organizations where we're being exposed to more and more new persons joining us, whether locally, regionally, or sometimes even internationally. One of the things that we need to be conscious of when we are working in these growing organizations is the advent of unconscious bias. Now, we have to keep in mind that there are going to be situations, there are going to be circumstances where our bias may come about, may play a significant role in us making a decision, and we may not be fully conscious of the same. Now, there are two different categories when it comes to bias. There is conscious, explicit bias, and then there is unconscious or implicit bias. Just to give you an understanding of two of them, unconscious bias is generally those social stereotypes that we unconsciously use when we come to either decision making and even inclusion and diversity. And we want to make sure that persons are aware of these implicit behaviors so that they can consciously do something about them. Now, when we talk about conscious or explicit bias, these are biases that we are aware of, that we're using to make a particular decision. Not saying that it is particularly good, but it all depends sometimes on the circumstances. When it comes to us developing our skill set within managing and dealing with diversity, we want to be aware of our unconscious bias. Unconscious bias, it's far more common than one may think, and it is those inherent or experiential traits that we develop probably from childhood or from the environments that we are a part of. Unconscious bias may not occur within that conscious space. So we have to keep in mind we may not always be aware that these biases exist. For example, in another training that we conduct, there is a critical problem solving solution where we advent that one of the persons in a particular profession, instead of being a male, turned out to be a female. But because of a person's unconscious bias, they tend to associate particular professions with a particular gender. So we want to make sure that we are aware of simple things like those as well. Unconscious bias may be triggered by an event or a situation. Again, it goes back to what we may have been told or been in culture to believe is true. So, this particular workshop, the objectives are to help you understand the various types of unconscious biases that may exist and where do they come from, and identifying where they come from may help us to understand how they are ingrained in our decision making, and then how can we become conscious of curving those acts. We want to make sure that you also understand how to successfully confront these unconscious biases that may exist within individuals within your particular space or sometimes even out of your immediate surroundings. So you'll go over different topics that allows you to dive a bit deeper into understanding this particular training, from understanding what is unconscious bias to understanding the effects that it may have on the company, understanding different types of unconscious biases that may exist, so you are aware of them. And of course, in identifying a challenge, it is important for us to learn how to mitigate them or find solutions around them and understand what can help us to move this behavior in the positive direction that we can now be able to handle them as best as we possibly can. So if you're thinking that your field of work where you're dealing with a diverse group of team members, your company or organization is expanding exponentially, this can be a soft skill area that will benefit you and your organization tremendously, understanding how to address these unconscious biases that may exist. So don't wait, you can pick up your cell phones, put on the camera, you can point to the QR code, and a link will pop up that will take you straight to our page that allows you to explore the content of the training a bit more in detail. And it even allows you to get registered online, where one of our team members can reach out to you to provide you with more information on how this course can be done for you and or your organization. For the persons who prefer the faster connection, you can just call the number on the screen, 223-5583, and one of our team members will be more than willing to provide you with the necessary information. So don't let unconscious biases prevent you from growing personally and professionally, and reach out to us so that you can continue on your path to personal and professional development. Coach Kion here. See you in the next episode.